Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis Speaks 2023. And today I want to talk to you all about dating apps and the potential to turn you into a person you don't even recognize anymore. For years, I have been on the apps, and let me start off by saying this. You're going to hear a lot of confessions in this video today. I'm a firm believer that confession is the road to redemption. And so I'm going to tell on myself as a way to heal and come clean. So with that being said, I've been on the apps for years, looking for partnership, looking for connection, looking for friendship. And all I got was just a series of wounded men that can't provide you with consistent communication, men that ghost you, men that block you, men that refuse to show you a face pic, men that only show you chest, dick, ass, parts of themselves. The communication is inconsistent at best, at worst, non-existent. You may get 3 letters: HRU, how are you? WYD, what are you doing? All these abbreviations as opposed to genuine communication. I have been blocked, I have been ghosted, I have thought that people wanted to link up, so I actually went out to meet them. They gave me a false address. Half of the times I was just standing in the woods. Other times I was driving around in circles. Just the men, they want to waste your time. And so overall, in an attempt to survive the apps, I became like the monsters that were under my bed or that I tried to put in my bed. I should say that, really. So I became like the monsters that I tried to put in my bed. And I would ghost, I would block, I would send fake pics, I would send somebody else's dick, I would send somebody else's chest, I would send somebody else's ass. I would waste people's time. I would have them come over to my place and just leave them on read and then delete them and block them. I became a monster. I realized that I started to hate men. And so I wanted to make them suffer. I wanted to make them suffer and pay them back for all the hurt that they did to me. That was my mindset. That is the mindset of these apps. Everybody is out there disappointing one another. And the thing about it is this: we don't realize that many of the boys that we stand up, that we ignore, they are struggling with father wounds and abandonment wounds, right? They're struggling with all these wounds, and all we do is re-injure one another. We infect and re-injure one another. And I'm also talking about spiritually transmitted diseases where you are searching for a genuine connection, a genuine relationship, relationship, only to get disappointed, re-injured, re-traumatized over and over again. And it's a sick process. I know it's sick, but you also do it and you find yourself transformed by these apps because you want to survive them. In an effort to survive, you become like the monsters that you condemn. You feel like this is all there is, and you feel after a while you just like, if I can't beat him, then I'll join him. I'll be that monster. I'll be that guy who is just so toxic, so wounded. I'll be that man because I'm tired of being the good man and getting myself disappointed. I'm tired of being the loving, kind, caring, considerate man and then getting blocked. So you become this monster, and you don't realize that over time it just starts to become your personality, bonds to all your good traits to the point where you don't even recognize yourself anymore. You start to realize that, wait a minute, this is not me. This is not me. I'm not a type of person that gives inconsistent communication. I'm not the type of person that just offers one-word sentences. I'm not that kind of person. I'm a person that looks for genuine connection. I'm a person that loves to communicate, that loves to talk, that loves to relate. But these apps, they turn you into a monster. And everybody is out here trying to survive these apps. And it's a vicious cycle. Like, because on one hand, we're looking for connection, but then we meet these broken, wounded people, these hurt people that continue to hurt us. And so we feel like this is all there is. So in an effort to survive, in an effort to protect ourselves, we become just like the very thing that we're complaining about. And I don't have any answers. I just think, for one, people need to jack off these apps, jack out of this matrix, and begin to really try again to meet people face to face. I know these apps offer a level of convenience. They offer a level of connection, like a hit. It's a small hit of connection, but in actuality, they're not really feeding or filling us up. People are still lonely on these apps, except this time they're angry. They're lonely and angry. And I've had men tell me that they live to make other men suffer. I had a man, something, I met him on Grindr, we linked up, and then afterwards, I saw on his Facebook a post that said, "I'm going to do to these men what my father did to my mother." So it's like, whoa, we have these broken down messes of men just hurting one another. You have men on Grindr not honest about their status, telling you that they're negative when they're really positive. They say things now like negative on PrEP, when really they're positive on meds. They're letting you believe that they're negative, their status is negative, when really they know they're positive. And the thing about that is this is not about shaming individuals who are HIV positive or anything like that. But it's important that you let people know your status so you give them a choice whether or not they want to engage. And a lot of people do not disclose their status. They're not honest about it. You know what I'm saying? And that puts people at risk. And I think that not knowing about someone's status can prevent them from protecting themselves. But once again, these people on the apps, they don't care. They don't care. It's just about getting off. They just treat us all like welcome mats that they wipe their feet on and then just step off. There's no care, there's no connection, there's no consideration, none of that. And it's sickening. If you want to know the truth, it's disgusting. And I gotta be honest, I'm no better though, because the reason, let me tell you something. I've gotten on these apps and I've done the same behaviors. I've been honest about my status. I'm negative. I identify as seronegative. I've been very honest. I've been very honest about some things. But I've lied. I've lied about my age. I've lied about my dick size. I've lied about my ass size. I've added extra inches. Because nowadays people want 12 inches. So then you got to tell them that you're 10 to 12. You got to tell them these things. So it's like you lie about everything on these apps and you find yourself lying to the point of like, who am I anymore? What type of monster am I? And it's like, as gay men, we're so superficial. We care about things like ass size, dick size, the size of your chest, how much hair you got on your body. Are you scruff? Are you cut, uncut? Is that what's really important? Cut or uncut? In the final hour, let me tell you something. Are you going to ask yourself, well, was he cut or uncut? We care about the wrong things and then we wonder why the right things elude us. I'm just tired of this culture, like I said before. I no longer want to live my life in this culture. It's difficult sometimes because I gotta be real. Sometimes you get bored, sometimes you get lonely, and so you log back on these apps and you find the same thing. Thing about it is this: I could be absent from the apps for 2 years, and I will come back and reinstall the app, and I bet you it's the same circus. It's the same antics over and over again. But once again, we find ourselves trapped in this wheel, in this hamster wheel, trying to break free, but at the same time, not really knowing how, not really having the tools, not really having the genuine connection we need in order to break free. I think connection is key. We are not islands unto ourselves. We were created. We were created for connection. When I was reading Genesis, I was reading, how God saw that man was alone in the garden, and he realized that it was not good for man to be alone. So he created a complement, a woman, to be with him and to provide companionship. And so I realized that, am I going against God's will for connection? Maybe this is why it's not connecting, because I'm not doing what God instructed. I have beaten my brain with this. If you see my past videos, I've just been beating my brain, beating my brain. And it's not working here. It's not working with these apps. It's not working with these men. These men are just wounded, damaged, and how they see other men, the perception that they have. There's misandry even within the gay community. We are men who hate men, right? I realized yesterday I wrote a post, I love dick, I hate men. But that's the thing. Hate men? I know I don't hate men. I know that's not really how I feel. I love beautiful men. I think that we are created in God's image. What is happening? I'm transforming. I'm becoming this monster. And I had to catch myself because you just don't even know how it's happening. And it's a gradual process. And before you know it, you're becoming infected with the spirit of the world. And you just don't even know how it happened. How it happened is that you meet people. Those people disappoint you. They let you down as only they can because they too are operating from a very demonic spirit. And so they're under the spell of that spirit. And so they're behaving as such. And so they hurt you, and you in kind, over-identify with your oppressor and feel like, something, maybe they're the smart ones. So you start to adopt those same behaviors, those same actions, of your oppressor, of the one who hurt you. And then you go out there and you hurt other people. And then it's this vicious cycle of hurt people, hurting people, and hurting more people. And then it's just, we're not getting what we want, which is genuine connection. We initially started off wanting genuine connection. Then we end up just wanting retribution, retaliation, to pay someone back. So what starts off as the desire for true connection becomes something totally different. And then you're wondering, how did I get here so far away from where I initially started? I started wanting love. I started wanting connection. And then I became a monster. I became a monster. And there's so many men out there becoming monsters every single day. Beautiful men, beautiful hearts, allowing their hearts to be transformed by the life, by these apps, by other broken men. It's wild. So, but once again, I'm not saying that, these apps are bad in and of themselves. What I'm saying is that they have the potential, keyword potential, to really, really, really change your nature and transform you into somebody who is a monster. Right now there's a saying, people want to have an act bad summer. I guess it's like a hot girl, hot boy summer, but this is an act bad summer. They want to act bad this summer. Well, Think about it as this: you reap what you sow. What you put out into the world is what's going to come back to you. And I've learned that firsthand. I can attest to that because I realize that a lot of times, you wonder why you can't find any genuine connections. Well, maybe it's because you settled for some really, really toxic connections, to the point where those toxic connections turns you into a monster and kind of just inhibited your ability to meet other people. It interfered with your ability to find those genuine connections because you've adopted this toxic energy. So now when the person that is meant for you comes along, they're repelled by you because you're this toxic individual, because you've allowed these apps and these people to turn you into a monster. So my thing is this: don't let this life, don't let these apps turn you into a monster. We got to jack out of this matrix because it's not working. It's not sustainable. We are transforming into people we don't even recognize anymore. We don't even recognize who we are. All our good qualities, our good traits are being replaced by badness, cruelty, evil. And this is not who we are. This is who we feel we need to be in order to survive. But is that who we really need to be in order to survive? Or do we just need to get away from spaces that provoke and motivate these bad changes in us, that evoke these changes in us? This is not who we have to be in order to survive. We have to correct that perspective, because that's a faulty belief that we have to be these monsters in order to survive. No, we have to actually stay away from those spaces and those places and those people that incite that behavior in us, that trigger that behavior. The moment that we know that this is a space that's going to turn us into a monster, we got to get away from that space. That's all I could see. So I'm definitely just balancing everything, reevaluating a lot, because I realize that these apps, they're unhealthy. How we use them to hurt and to recoup what we think we lost, it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. So this right here is accountability 101. This is the first step in saying, I have become a monster, but I don't want to be that way because this is not who I am. So now it's time to do something about it. Time to jack off of these apps, jack off of these matrix, these whatever, these systems, and just go back to a strong foundation. Finding connection with people that genuinely want to be good. Because they're out there. They're out there. But they're slowly feeling like they have to be these kind of people in order to survive, and they don't. So change starts with me, so I got to start doing that. So that is my confession. And as I mentioned before, confession is the road to redemption. And I'm hoping that I can definitely maintain on this road. And if you're on this journey too, just know you're not alone. You're not. And I love you all. Thank you for listening. Peace, y'all.